You're listening to the Life Coaching Secrets Podcast, episode 241. Did you know that life coaches are needed now more than ever? I'm Frank Macri, founder of Thriving Coach Academy. I've trained over 1,000 coaches and helped them launch their own successful coaching businesses. If you want to make an incredible income and impact as a coach and have a lot of fun doing it, I'll show you exactly how to get it done. This is Life Coaching Secrets. What's up, coaches? In this episode, we're going to talk about why it's time to escape the 9 to 5. We're going to talk about how the 9 to 5 system is failing you and why your boss should not determine your future. Okay, we're going to talk about why if you really want to take control over your life and have freedom, it is about getting out of the corporate prison that is keeping you and so many people trapped. So have you ever wondered why some people climb this corporate ladder while others that are just as hardworking and talented, they get left behind? It's because promotions and raises and recognition, they have less to do with your actual skill, and they have more to do with politics, with timing, or just simply knowing the right people. And that is so frustrating, right? Because no matter how much you give, someone else is ultimately deciding your worth. And that is the reality for most traditional jobs. You can do everything right and still be overlooked. Even if you do manage to break through and reach the top, it often does come with a cost. Right? Long hours, lots of stress, little time for yourself or the people that you love. To me, that does not sound like freedom, and it certainly does not sound secure. In this episode, we're pulling back the curtain on why the corporate system is stacked against you, and we're going to explore a better path, one where you don't wait for someone else to choose you. Instead, you take full control of your income, your schedule, and your future. And if you can't already tell, this is something that I am very passionate about. So let me give you a little backstory. One of my very first jobs that I had as a teenager is I worked at a pool, a public pool. And there was someone that, it was like a small team of maybe 10 of us. And we would spend our summers doing maintenance around the pool, like sweeping up trash and selling admission tickets and renting out locker keys. It was not really intense work at all. But I started working this job with someone else, and we both would return to the job year after year, summer after summer. So we both started from the same place, the same pay, and we were doing the same work. We were putting in the same hours, and we both had the same level of experience. We'll call this person Chad. Then one day, Chad was promoted to become an assistant manager. And he was given this big raise, and it was not because he was more skilled or a harder worker than me. He just was closer with the boss. And that moment hit me really hard. I remember thinking, I am never going to let someone else's opinion control how much I earn. That was when I knew I never wanted my potential or my financial future to be limited by a system like that again. I remember it vividly. We were both like working summer after summer, and it was getting to that one year where someone was going to be chosen to become the assistant manager. And he was chosen for that. The truth is that a traditional job, if you have one, you can do everything right and still someone else decides your value. Only a select few make it to the top. And as I shared earlier, there's a price that you pay at the top: burnout, long hours, and little freedom. So that's when I realized that real security doesn't come from hoping someone else notices you and gives you that promotion. It comes from building something of your own. And I want to repeat that because it's so key. Real security doesn't come from hoping someone notices you. It comes from building something of your own. And when you have your own business, you're in total control. Not your boss, not the company politics. You decide how much you make, when you work, who you work with, and where you get to pour your creative energy. And the wild thing is, society keeps calling a traditional 9-to-5 job the safe path. So don't you think it's time that we start questioning that? Because I do. So I want to talk about who is that 9 to 5 culture for and who is it not for. The 9 to 5 corporate culture, where you do traditional jobs, this is for people that really crave structure over freedom. Okay, if you want a predictable routine, very clear tasks, you like being told what to do and when to do it, if you value stability over autonomy, and you are willing to trade flexibility for what feels like a secure paycheck, even if it's capping your potential, then that would be who the 9 to 5 culture is for. Who is it not for, though? It's not for people that want to own their time, their income, and their creativity. Okay, they don't want to wait for permission to take a vacation or ask for a raise. The 9 to 5 culture is not for those who think differently and challenge the rules, because they see through the corporate politics and don't want to play a game where the outcome isn't based on merit. It's not for people who value purpose and impact over hierarchy and titles. They want to do meaningful work, not just climb a ladder that someone else built. And the 9 to 5 culture is not for entrepreneurial minds who would rather bet on themselves than rely on a boss, because they know that they're capable of more and they want to build something that no one else can take away. And I realized at that age, with that experience, the 9 to 5 culture is not for me. And if I'm going through this list and you're resonating with what I'm sharing, then this is something you really want to tune into, because the sooner and the faster you can get yourself out of that 9 to 5 prison, then the easier it is you can actually start, the faster it is you can start creating your freedom and the life you actually want. So I'm going to share with you some lessons I learned about the 9 to 5 world when I was living in it, okay, when I was working in it. So one of the things I learned is the illusion of fairness in traditional work. Okay, we were all taught from a young age that if you work hard, you show up on time, you give it your all, then you'll just be successful. You climb the ladder, you get recognized, you earn more. But the truth is, in a lot of jobs, hard work does not equal higher pay. Okay, hard work and skill doesn't automatically equal opportunity or fair pay. I watched someone else get promoted and handed a bigger paycheck, not because they were more capable, just because they were closer with the boss. So you can do everything right and still get overlooked. And maybe you've lived this before. You showed up early, you stayed late, you took on extra responsibilities, you poured yourself into a job, and then you just watched someone else get the recognition or the promotion. And they might not have even worked as hard as you did. And that's not because you're not good enough. It's just because you're playing a game where you don't control the scoreboard. The only way to change that is to stop waiting for someone to see your worth and start building something where your effort actually equals your reward. When you run your own coaching business, for example, you decide what you're worth, you set the price, you choose the opportunities, and no one can overlook you because no one gets to choose for you. Right? Promotions and raises, they often have little to do with who's the most skilled or who puts in the most effort. It's usually just favoritism, it's politics, it's someone just being in the right place at the right time, and I'm sure you've seen this for yourself. So I don't know about you, but I am not interested in playing how can I be the boss's favorite. It's not fun and it's not fair. So instead of playing that game, you can just opt out and create your own playing field. Right? Waiting for someone else to choose you, this is not a wealth strategy that you want to live by. The corporate ladder, it's very narrow at the top. And as I've mentioned, even those that make it, right? Even those that have perhaps a lot of money, they're sacrificing it for all of their time and all their other freedoms just to stay there. So if you want real security and control, you need a path where your income and your future aren't determined by office politics or someone else's approval. The system that you're playing in, it wasn't designed for you to truly win. It's just trading one set of limitations for another. Longer hours for heavier responsibility, someone else deciding what your ceiling is. So in many ways, you're just losing more slowly. But entrepreneurship, it isn't about breaking the rules or being a rebel. It's about just choosing a system that actually rewards what you bring to the table. When you have your own business, you're no longer constrained by someone else's hierarchy. You get to create your own rules and define your own success. And that is the most liberating thing you can do. Right? Having control is the new job security. You can't control a boss. You can't control the job market. You can't control company politics fully. You can have maybe influence over it, but you can't control it. You can control how you market yourself, for example. You can control your pricing for your services. You can control how you grow your business. Like I just sometimes see, if I were to have stayed in the 9 to 5 trap, I would I would have a fraction of the success and freedom that I enjoy now as a business owner. And it's one of the decisions I'm most grateful that I made so many years ago, getting out of that trap. And it is scary at first just because it's new, but anything that's new is going to be scary. That doesn't mean it's bad or wrong. It means you're growing. So we need to stop with this story that we tell ourselves like, oh, it's really risky to start your own business. No, it's empowering. What's risky is staying in a system that you have no control over, staying in the 9 to 5 trap. A lot of people are told this lie that having a traditional job, it's safe. It's not safe. Let's stop BSing ourselves. Oh, but you get a steady paycheck, but you get benefits, but it's so predictable. Well, have you ever been laid off or seen people get laid off or been passed over for a raise or just seen companies that collapse overnight? You're never fully in control when someone else is signing your paycheck, right? In most jobs, your future isn't fully in your hands at all. Any decision about your income is made behind closed doors because you can't control your boss's mood or whether the business you work for will even exist in a few years. You could give years of your life to a company and watch it vanish with a single corporate decision made in the boardroom that you were never sitting in on. Real security is not found in a job. It is found in you having control. And when you build your own business, you get to decide what you charge, who you work for, how much you want to grow. You get to have control over all of it. It is not risky to pursue entrepreneurship. It's the smartest and most logical move that you can make because no one can take away a business that you've built and the skills that you've mastered to run it. I'll say that one more time. No one can take away a business you've built and the skills that you've mastered to run it. Now, in the story I shared earlier, I was denied of a promotion because of someone else's preference, not because of a difference in skill or ability. Think about how much power a single person has over your livelihood when you work a traditional job. It's just one manager's opinion that could decide if you get a raise or even have your position at all. And that decision is rarely a reflection of your true potential. You could be so skilled and educated and have amazing ideas, yet just still be overlooked because of biases, because of favoritism. The people with the most control over your income, they often know the least about what you're capable of. And that's not just unfair. That is a broken system. A coaching business, though, it gives you a way out. When you have your own coaching business, no single person holds the keys to your future. Your financial success is not at the mercy of the opinions of others or office dynamics. It's determined by the value that you bring and the results you create for your clients. Like I just created for our coaches in the academy this bonus training called the Premium Coaching Formula. That's all about attracting high ticket clients. And it's because I wanted to do it. It's because I enjoy pouring value into our community. And I just love that. Like I wasn't told to do it. I'm showing up wanting to do work and enjoying this journey. But how often are people being told what to do? You don't even feel like you're doing things that are aligned with your values, your gifts, your passions, and you're not even getting paid what you feel like you deserve to be getting paid. Like there's no winning with that. With your own business, you get to decide what you want to earn. No one can take that away from you. Right? And remember that when people actually make it to the top in the corporate world, how much that they are paying at the top. Okay? So many people that like even friends of mine that at this phase, they're getting to a high level, they're hitting that corporate ladder, like the peak of it, the ceiling. but they are so stressful. So they might be making a good amount of money, but they are so incredibly burnt out and stressed. With coaching, though, you get to win by designing a life that's in alignment of income and also lifestyle and purpose. Okay, you don't need to choose income or lifestyle, having a good income or having a good lifestyle. You can have both. You don't need to choose either I can do fulfilling, purposeful work or I can make a lot of money. What if you can have all of it? Because you can. A lot of people will spend decades grinding up that corporate ladder, and they'll have this belief that once they make it to the top, everything's going to be secure and comfortable and fulfilling and free. But if you talk to a lot of executives and top earners in a traditional career, you're going to hear a very different story. The higher they climb, the heavier the burden becomes. With the bigger paychecks becomes more pressure, less time to enjoy their success that they work so hard for. Like, what's the point if you can't even enjoy the success? What are we doing, people? Right? You go on vacation, but you are interrupted by emails, right? Your company, you're still constantly thinking about the company. Your family time is getting sacrificed because you've got deadlines to meet. There's endless responsibilities. So you might have the title, but you're losing the freedom in the process. But coaching gives you a different kind of success where you don't have to sacrifice your health, your relationships, your passions. You can design a business that really supports your ideal lifestyle and allows you to do meaningful work without having to burn out. True success isn't just about reaching the top, okay? It's about having the freedom to live and work on your own terms. That's such an important question that you want to be asking yourself. Is the career path you're on now, is it going to give you the real freedom that you want, or is it just going to create more stress? Maybe you'll have a lot of money in a traditional job, but you'll have no freedom and tons of stress. Because if you want to have both freedom and income and low stress, you need to make sure you're creating the career that's going to give you that. And coaching does that. There's so much resentment that unfortunately happens when you're losing out on promotions, you're watching other people rise ahead of you. It stings, right? You feel undervalued. I can't tell you how many times when I talk with our new students, they tell me how before they got into coaching, they felt so undervalued. They felt powerless in their other jobs before they got into coaching. They would think, why even bother working so hard if this is how all of it goes? But those are the moments. If you're feeling that right now, those moments can either break you or build you. You can let all that bitterness consume you and stay stuck in the system where you have no control, or you can turn that into fuel. You can let it be the moment that you decide, I'm not letting this happen again. I am not letting my future be determined by someone else's preference or politics. That job that I had a long time ago, that was like the seed was planted. And I said, okay, it's time for me to start figuring out how to get out of this mess, how to get out of this system, because I refuse to let someone else control my future. I want to be in control of that. I want to be in control of my purpose and the impact that I make on other people's lives. Right? When you can channel the frustration you have into building up your own coaching business, you get to create something that no boss can ever give you and no company can take away. So let the frustration you're feeling right now, let that become a spark that ignites a future where you have success that's truly your own. Don't let any kind of corporate injustice you're experiencing, don't let it make you bitter. Let it wake you up. Let it wake you up right now. So if you're listening to this and you're realizing that, this 9-to-5 world, it's not meant for you, if you feel caged, out of place, like you're just not in your environment, it's time to stop waiting for things to change. The sooner you get out, the better. And it's not because the 9-to-5 is bad for everybody. It's just because you weren't meant to build your life inside of someone else's blueprint. You were meant to create your own. And the longer you stay in a system that's not fit for you, the more it chips away at your creativity and also your calling. So if something in you knows you're meant for more, I want you to listen to that. That voice inside of you is not reckless or ungrateful or irresponsible. It is your future that's trying to wake you up, and it's right on time to do it. I want to end by saying that in a traditional job, Leadership is treated like a prize that you have to wait for someone else to give to you. Here's the title, here's the promotion, here's the corner office. But not having the title doesn't mean that you aren't already leading. Okay, leadership isn't about what's printed on your business card. It's about the impact you make and the ideas that you share and the people you help. The coaching industry flips this old model completely upside down because there are no managers to impress or corporate gatekeepers that are going to decide who's ready. If you have a vision, if you have a message, if you have a heart to serve others, you can step into leadership right now. Okay, you don't need permission to lead. You don't have to wait for a boss to approve it or a company to validate it. The world doesn't need more titles. It needs more people like you, willing to rise, willing to speak up, and willing to guide others forward. Okay, when you choose coaching, you give yourself permission to lead, and you also find the people who need you already. They're waiting to follow you right now. And you can spend your whole life waiting for someone else to notice your worth. You can spend your whole life waiting for that boss to promote you or your company to value you. But if you're feeling overlooked or stuck, watching the less qualified people get ahead, it's not because you're not good enough. It's because the game's rigged. Right? True security doesn't come from hoping somebody picks you. It's deciding to pick yourself. And I'm telling you, when you step into a coaching business, you no longer ask for permission to lead and to earn and to make an impact. You get full control over your income, your time, and your future. You start building something that no corporate ladder can ever take away from you. No office politics can ever deprive you of. So if you've ever thought, I know I'm meant for more, but no one's giving me the chance. Let this episode be your wake-up call. You don't need a chance. You just need a choice. And you have one. The question is, will you keep playing a game that you can't win? Or will you finally create success on your own terms? Listen, if this is resonating for you, we would love to have you in Thriving Coach Academy. This is exactly what we help our community do. Create thriving businesses where they make an impact and also create a life of freedom and fulfillment. So join us in the Academy. We have a cohort starting very soon. Let's make this the year that you have a thriving coaching business and make the impact you know that you are born to make. All right. If you've enjoyed this episode, remember to leave a 5-star review and also share this. Share this episode with someone that you think it will really fire up and excite. And before we go, I'm going to leave a snippet from an interview I had with one of our coaches in the Academy, someone who's gone through the training, and they're going to share some of their tips for how you can become successful as a coach. So enjoy their story, and I will see you in the next episode.
Hi, I'm Celine, and I'm a coach in Thriving Coach Academy. And I first discovered coaching about a year ago. Coaching has always been a theme in my life throughout my different careers. I was a teacher and then a professional skills coach. But I got to a point in my life where I realized I no longer want coaching to be an add-on to my career. I really wanted to go all in on it. And so that's how I made my decision. So at that time in my life, about a year ago, I was really missing fulfillment and satisfaction in my work. I felt like I was just going through the same day-to-day grind without really feeling like I was giving value in the work that I was doing. So when I came across Thriving Coach Academy, I immediately was drawn to the fact that there was a huge community around the space and the business support. So that's what drew me in more so than any of the other coaching programs I'd researched throughout the year. The only hesitation I had that honestly didn't last that long for me was the financial investment. I had watched the coaching one-on-one video and it really, really resonated with me. I was like, yes, this is my calling. This is what I've been experiencing and thinking throughout the last year. But the financial commitment was just the one area where I had to pause and really talk to my husband about it. And I found that it was less about my hesitation with it and more looking for validation from my partner and my family to say, I know what I'm doing. This is right. Trust me on this. But other than that, just felt like the right fit for me. My biggest success so far in TCA honestly has been the personal growth. I have always known the value that I could give through coaching, but actually being in the position of getting coached has honestly, I feel transformed me as a person. I am able so much more to articulate my values to others, put myself out there, and really step into this new identity as a coach. And it's been incredible seeing the reception of that from other people. I didn't expect, I think, to change so much in such a short amount of time. It's hard to put into words what I've liked so far because it's so much. The community, for one, is so inspiring. It's helped me stay driven in this pursuit of entrepreneurship and building out my own business. The feedback that I've been getting throughout the academy has been invaluable. I've been loving my mentor sessions with my mentor coach, Steph. She's been giving me such powerful and insightful feedback that has allowed me to really grow more than I could have ever hoped. The business support element, again, was a huge reason why I chose TCA over any other coaching academy. I have a space where I can really take on clients that want to work with me, and that part feels amazing. I have been embodying that entrepreneur side of me more than I ever have, and I just see that growing. If you're considering enrolling in TCA, trust your gut. That is the number one piece of advice I would give you, and I am so grateful that I did that for myself. There's a reason that you're drawn to this program and to this community. So do yourself a favor. Opportunities like this don't always come up in your life, so take the investment in yourself, and I promise you won't regret it. You might think you're enrolling for one area where it's just, oh, I'm going to get certified and I'll get business support, but you're going to come out with so much more. So, to a new student who's joining the program, I would advise them to utilize the coaching more than anything. If you're finding that you're having resistance in fully putting yourself out there, showing up, setting up your business, use the practice coaching calls in your peer groups as an opportunity to overcome those blocks, because the faster that you can get yourself started and push through the discomfort, the more success you'll see.
Hey, would you like access to powerful coaching tools you can use on yourself and clients right away? For being a listener of the podcast, I'm giving you a VIP guest pass to get a sneak peek into my coach training program. Inside, you'll learn our coaches' secret tool they use to transform their clients' lives. And you'll also get a training on how to launch a coaching business. Just head over to www.thrivingcoachacademy.com/VIP to get started. I'll see you on the inside.